actually grew up in the church and learned a lot of Bible stories, but didn't actually realize until some study in college that all of those stories actually fit together to kind of form this grand narrative that's not only about the history of God's work of salvation, but really is the history of His work of creation to the very consummation of all things.
Look at the story of creation, and you see that in creation the Bible says that God looked out upon His creation and He said that it was good. He gave this benediction upon the creation, and the idea of it being good means that He created it with integrity. There's a symphony and there's a harmony within creation as humanity worked together. The man and the woman worked in harmony until sin came in. And what happened when sin came in is that there was this disintegration, that this disharmony, and that which was once a symphonic unity now became a cacophony as sin just wreaked havoc upon the relationships.
To see the way all these different stories actually weave together to form this grand overarching story, I think is something of great beauty, and also gives one a sense that that God's work in history is unified and it's whole. There's a purpose that was in place before the very creation of the world, and that God has been at work fulfilling His purposes, accomplishing His purposes, and those things are unified, they're coherent.
God doesn't do random, that He doesn't create without a purpose. And therefore, being created in His image, we have been created, each one of us as individuals has been created with the sole purpose of glorifying God and finding our joy and our rest in Him.
For every person really, at some deep level, is wrestling with a couple core questions. They're asking the question, who am I? Where do I come from? And where am I going? What am I working towards? And so I think what a lot of folks do is they look at the Bible and they don't see the way it all fits together, and they don't see on an immediate level how the Bible addresses those core questions. We come to say, who am I? I'm a sinner who Jesus Christ has worked to redeem. Where am I coming from? I find the answers in the Bible story of humanity. That it's not just a story about individual ancient peoples, but it's actually telling the whole story about the human race and where I fit in. And where am I going? The Bible addresses those questions.
It ends just as it began, with the glory of God. It ends with God once again receiving all the glory and the praise that He had in the beginning.
And so I would say to folks who don't think the Bible's relevant, I challenge you to come and to be at this conference. And I am absolutely convinced that when the biblical story of creation, fall, redemption, consummation is told, that it speaks most directly to those core questions. Who am I? Where am I from? Where am I going? What do I need to be about? So I would say, come and see.